All right, get ready, because we're going really deep into Amazon Sagemaker Unified Studio.
Deep, deep.
Yeah, we're talking like pages 65 to 122.
Wow.
The data features section.
That's the heart of it.
Think of it like your cheat sheet
Your gut
to becoming like a data wizard, right?
Yeah.
But of course, you got to have those domains and projects set up first.
Exactly. Those are key domains and projects. Think of those like the foundation of a house.
Okay.
Now we're going to build out all the cool rooms and the gadgets that make it a home.
Nice.
And we'll be focusing just on
Yeah.
how Unified Studio helps you
Right.
manage and make sense of your data.
And just from my initial skim through these pages,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there is a lot here.
Oh, there's a ton.
Business glossaries, data products,
Oh, yeah.
even the ability to control who sees what.
Down to the row and column level.
Yeah, it's really powerful stuff.
Let's
But
say this.
it can be a little intimidating at first.
Yeah. It's definitely, it can feel like drinking from a fire hose, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's why we're here, to break it all down.
Okay.
So you understand how all these features work,
Yeah.
and even more importantly, how they can be a game changer for your projects.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Look at
First thing that really grabbed my attention was this idea of a business glossary
Yes.
in the data catalog.
Mhm.
Now, this isn't just like a simple dictionary, is it?
No. It's way more than that.
Right.
Imagine like everyone in your company is speaking the same language when it comes to data.
Oh, okay.
No more confusion when like marketing says customer engagement,
Uh-huh.
but the product team has a totally different definition.
Right.
That's what the business glossary solves.
So it's like a universal translator, but for data.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I bet that saves a ton of headaches
Oh, absolutely.
down the road.
Huge headaches.
Yeah.
And the cool part is, like, you can actually define the relationships between terms, too.
Yeah.
Oh, so you could connect customer to customer purchase.
Mhm.
You're creating this, like, web of meaning that helps everyone see how these data points connect.
No, wait, how does that actually work in practice?
Right.
Like, it can't just be about, like, making fancy definitions, right?
No.
So how does it actually make data easier to use?
Well, that's where the magic happens.
Okay.
This structured glossary, it really supercharges your data discovery.
Uh-huh.
So when you search for something in Unified Studio,
Yeah.
it's not just keyword matching anymore.
Okay.
It's actually leveraging those relationships that you defined
Okay.
to find the data that's actually relevant to what you're doing.
So it's like an intelligent search engine that understands your company's data language.
That's a great way to put it.
Oh, okay, my mind is blown.
Yeah.
What's next on this data adventure?
Okay, next up we have data products,
Right.
which is it's a pretty unique feature in Sagemaker Unified Studio.
Yeah, and from what I read, it seems like it's a
Yeah.
lot more than just like dumping files into a folder.
You got
Okay.
think of them like carefully curated packages of data,
Mm-hmm.
almost like those sampler boxes you get for
Okay.
like fancy cheese or chocolate,
Right.
You get a variety of assets,
Yeah.
descriptions, and even control over
Okay.
who gets to taste what.
Interesting.
It's all about streamlining sharing and collaboration.
So you're saying I can control exactly who accesses which parts of the data,
Yes,
even within a data product.
even within a data product down to the asset level.
Why would I want to do that?
Well, control is key, right?
Right.
Let's say you have some data that's, not fully ready for prime time,
Uh-huh.
but it's essential for a specific project.
Okay.
You can include it in the data product, publish it, but only the people with the right permissions within that project can see it.
So it's like a behind-the-scenes sneak peek.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So we've got this nicely organized catalog of data products. But what if I'm like just looking for a single data asset?
Right.
How does someone actually find and use individual bits of data within Sagemaker Unified Studio?
Okay, that's where the data discovery and consumption features come in.
Okay.
Think of it like browsing a massive library.
Okay.
You can search by keyword, filter by specific criteria.
Mhm.
You can even just, visually browse the catalog.
Okay, so a bunch of different ways to find what you need.
Exactly. And the goal is to make it really easy
Yeah.
to find that specific piece of data.
Now, what really jumped out at me were the row and column filters.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like you have control at an incredibly granular level.
You're telling me.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and that's where that balance between control and collaboration comes in again.
Okay.
You can grant access to a whole data set,
Yeah.
but then use row filters to say, okay, the sales team in the West region can only see data, relevant to their territory.
So no more accidentally sharing sensitive data with the wrong people?
Exactly.
Okay, that's a relief.
That's a huge one.
Yeah.
And then with column filters, you can even hide or mask sensitive columns, like personally identifiable information.
So you really have control over
Total control.
who sees what.
Yep.
All the way down to the individual data point.
That's right.
Okay, I'm starting to see the power here.
Good.
It's not just about storing data, it's about managing it with security and precision.
Absolutely.
But what about what about when your data is all over the place, like different sources, different formats? How does SageMaker Unified Studio handle that?
Okay, that's where Amazon SageMaker Lakehouse comes in.
Okay.
Imagine it like a universal adapter that plugs into your S3 data lakes and your Redshift data warehouses.
Right.
So it lets you query and analyze data across all of those sources without having to move or duplicate anything.
So it's like a data peace treaty.
I like that.
Ending the war between data silos.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so I like that.
And this is where it gets really cool for our listeners out there.
Yeah.
SageMaker Lakehouse doesn't discriminate. It supports a whole buffet of databases like DynamoDB, Redshift, even external ones like Google BigQuery and Snowflake.
So no matter where your data actually lives,
doesn't matter.
You can bring it all together under one roof into SageMaker Unified Studio.
Under one roof.
That changes everything.
It does.
Okay.
You get that unified view.
Yeah.
Which means better analysis, better insights.
This is incredible.
Very powerful stuff.
I can already see how this would change the way I work with data.
Yeah.
But there's one thing I'm still wondering about. All this data is great.
Right.
But at some point, you need the horsepower to actually do something with it. So how does SageMaker Unified Studio handle giving you access to compute resources?
That's a great question, and it's one of the things that makes this platform so powerful.
Okay.
SageMaker Unified Studio provides a really secure and streamlined way to access the resources you need, whether they're in your AWS account or even a different one.
Okay, so there's a difference between accessing resources in the same account versus a different one.
There is.
Okay, can you walk me through that?
Sure. So let's imagine you need to access a Redshift cluster for some heavy-duty analysis.
Okay.
If that cluster lives in the same account as your SageMaker Unified Studio project, it's pretty simple. You just give your administrator your project role, ARN. Think of it as your project's ID card.
Right.
And they'll use that to tag the cluster, making it clear that your project needs access.
So it's like giving your project a backstage pass to the Redshift cluster.
Precise. And your admin will then give you a username, password, and a special address called the JDBC URL that you'll use to connect within SageMaker Unified Studio.
Okay. That makes sense for resources in the same account.
Right.
But what if I need to access a Redshift cluster in a different account?
Okay. Yeah.
That sounds way more complicated.
It does add a layer of complexity.
Right.
But SageMaker Unified Studio actually makes it as painless as possible.
Okay.
In this case, you'll need to use an IAM role. Think of that as like a special key that grants you access to resources in the other account.
Got it.
And again, your admin will handle the setup, making sure that it has all the right permissions and tags.
So similar to before.
Similar to before.
It's about the tagging and permissions.
It is.
But with the extra security.
Right.
Because we're crossing account boundaries.
You got it.
Okay.
And once that's done, your admin will give you that access role ARN and the JDBC URL. You plug those into SageMaker Unified Studio.
Right.
And voila.
Okay.
You are connected, assuming the role's permissions.
Got it.
To securely access those resources in the other account.
Okay.
It sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty straightforward once it's set up.
It's a pretty clever system.
Yeah.
It sounds like SageMaker Unified Studio has really thought through these complexities of managing data.
They have.
And compute resources.
They have.
Especially when you're dealing with multiple accounts.
Especially when you're dealing with multiple accounts.
This is honestly a lot to digest.
It is.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of what SageMaker Unified Studio can do when it comes to managing data.
There's a lot more to uncover.
There is.
We've laid the groundwork.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to explore.
Well, luckily, we have a lot more deep diving to do.
We do.
In the next part, we'll be getting our hands dirty.
That's right.
And exploring how you actually manage, and publish your data within SageMaker Unified Studio.
Get ready to dive into the heart of data management.
Okay.
Within Sagemaker Unified Studio.
Sounds good. Welcome back. In part one, we went through this fascinating world of business glossaries and data products.
Yes, we did.
And we even navigated this terrain of Sagemaker Lakehouse.
It went deep.
It felt like we were laying the foundation.
We did.
For a truly organized and secure data universe.
Exactly. We covered like the blueprints and the building permits.
Right.
Now it's time to put on our hard hats and get to work on actually managing the data within Sagemaker Unified Studio.
I am ready.
Yeah.
Get my hands dirty.
Let's do it.
But before we jump into like the specifics, I'm curious, what's like the guiding principle behind data management in Sagemaker Unified Studio?
You know what's so fascinating about this platform?
Yeah.
Is its emphasis on flexibility and control.
Okay.
Like you are in the driver's seat when it comes to organizing and managing your data.
Got it.
Want to connect directly to existing databases? No problem.
Right.
Prefer to leverage the AWS Glue data catalog? Go for it.
Okay.
Need to create your own custom asset types to fit your specific workflow?
Mm-hmm.
You have the power to do that too.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
It's not.
That's a relief because every project is a little bit different.
Exactly. And take creating data sources, for example.
Okay.
You can seamlessly connect to an Amazon Redshift cluster or an AWS Glue database, pulling in those tables and views as assets within your Unified Studio project.
Now, I remember seeing something about custom asset types in the user guide.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely piqued my curiosity, but I didn't fully grasp what's the deal with those.
Custom asset types. That's where things get really interesting.
Yep.
Sometimes those standard asset types that are provided by Sagemaker Unified Studio, they just don't cut it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Maybe you're working with some unusual data format, like sensor readings from IoT devices, or some highly specific data from your industry.
So you wouldn't want to force it?
You wouldn't want to force it.
Into a category where it doesn't belong.
Into a square peg in a round hole.
Exactly.
So you can create a custom asset type specifically for those sensor readings, define the metadata that's relevant, and ensure that everyone understands exactly what those assets represent.
It's like creating a custom-made container for your data.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
Okay, so once you have your data sources and asset types figured out, how do you actually get the data into the catalog?
Right.
It can't be as simple as just drag and dropping files, can it?
Well, sometimes it actually is that simple for like small data sets or individual files.
Okay.
You can just upload them directly into your project's S3 bucket.
Uh-huh.
But for larger data sets or more complex scenarios, there are some more robust methods.
Okay, give me an example. I'm all about concrete examples.
Okay, let's say you're working with like a massive Amazon Redshift data warehouse. You can create a data source in Sagemaker Unified Studio that points directly to that cluster.
Okay.
You specify the database schema and choose the specific tables or views that you need.
And now I'm guessing you don't always want to import every single row.
No.
From a huge table.
No, that would be very inefficient.
Right. What if you only need like a subset of the data for your project?
That's right. And luckily, you have very granular control over that data selection. You can use include and exclude patterns to target specific tables. And even filter based on column values. To really narrow down your data set.
So if I only need data, like for customers in a specific region or a certain age demographic, I can set up those filters during the import process.
Exactly. You're bringing in only what's relevant to your project. Which keeps things nice and clean. Helps you work more efficiently. And here's where it gets even cooler. When you create a data source, you can actually choose to publish those imported assets right away. Or you can add them to your project inventory for some fine-tuning before you publish.
So it's like a staging area.
It is.
Where you can polish your data before it goes live.
Precisely.
Okay, I like that.
You can add metadata, define relationships between assets, and make sure that everything is well documented before it's shared with others.
And speaking of metadata, Sagemaker Unified Studio has some really neat features.
It does.
For automatically generating metadata as you import data.
That's right.
Okay, now that's a huge time saver.
Oh, yeah.
No more manually tagging and describing every single column.
You got it.
Okay, good.
You can set it up to automatically extract metadata from the source system, column names, data types, even comments. It's all pulled in automatically, saving you tons of effort and ensuring consistency across your data catalog.
Okay, this is music to my ears.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Now, once you've got all this data nicely organized within your project, how do you actually share it with, the rest of the world? We talked about data products earlier.
We did.
But are those the only way to make data discoverable and accessible?
Data products are a fantastic way to package and share data for specific use cases.
Okay.
But they're not the only option.
Got it.
You can also publish individual assets to the Amazon Sagemaker catalog. That makes them visible and searchable across your entire Sagemaker Unified Studio domain.
So if I have a data set that multiple teams could benefit from, I can make it easily discoverable.
You got it.
Without having to create a whole data product.
That's the idea. It's about striking that balance between, structured data products for specific needs and that more open catalog for broader data exploration and sharing.
Now, data isn't static, right?
No.
It changes over time.
All the time.
So how do you manage updates and keep everything in sync?
Okay, that's where asset revisions come into play.
Okay.
Sagemaker Unified Studio has these built-in mechanisms for tracking changes and managing different versions of your data assets. So when you update a published asset, a new revision is created, but the previous version is preserved. So you can always roll back if needed.
So it's like version control.
It is, exactly.
For your data.
Yeah.
Just like you would have with software code.
Exactly. This is so essential for maintaining data integrity. And understanding how your data sets have evolved over time.
Yeah.
And this actually ties into the concept of data lineage, which we touched on a bit earlier. Sagemaker Unified Studio provides tools to visualize the relationships between your data assets, showing how data flows from source to destination.
So if I'm looking at a particular data set in the catalog, I can trace it back to its origin, see what transformations were applied, even see how it's being used in other projects.
That's right. Okay. This transparency is crucial for understanding the context of your data, ensuring its quality, and making informed decisions based on its origins and how it's been processed.
We've covered so much.
We have.
In this part of our deep dive, from data sources and custom asset types to publishing, revisions, and even data lineage.
Yeah.
Sagemaker Unified Studio really provides a comprehensive toolkit.
It does.
For managing data.
It does.
Yeah, and remember, we're still just focusing on the data management side of things.
That's right.
There's a whole other world to explore.
There is.
When it comes to analyzing that data. Applying machine learning.
That's right.
And extracting valuable insights.
That's right.
Which is a perfect segue into the next part of our deep dive.
Absolutely.
We'll be uncovering.
Let's do it.
Those analytical and AI capabilities.
It's going to be fun.
Get ready to see how Sagemaker Unified Studio takes you.
Oh, yeah.
From raw data to actionable insights.
That's what we're all about.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Amazon Sagemaker Unified Studio.
The grand finale.
And specifically, its data capabilities.
That's right.
We've journeyed through this meticulous world of data organization and access control.
Yes, we have.
And even dipped our toes into the powerful currents of Sagemaker Lakehouse.
That's right. We've covered a lot of ground.
It's been quite a ride.
It has.
We've learned how to organize, secure, and even unify data from different sources. But now it's time to shift gears a bit.
Let's do it.
And talk about what we can actually do with all this data. That's right. We've built the foundation.
Right.
Now it's time to turn that data into insights, predictions, maybe even a little bit of magic.
I love where this is going.
Yeah.
But before we get into the specifics of data analysis and AI, I have a question.
Right.
How does Sagemaker Unified Studio bridge the gap between data management and these more advanced capabilities?
That's where the beauty of a unified development environment really shines.
Okay.
Sagemaker Unified Studio isn't just a bunch of separate tools haphazardly thrown together.
Right.
It's a seamless workspace where you can effortlessly transition
Yeah.
from managing your data to analyzing it to building machine learning models.
Right.
Even deploying those models into production.
Okay.
All within the same platform.
So no more like switching between different applications, wrestling with different logins, and trying to remember where you saved that crucial piece of code.
Yep.
Exactly. It's all about streamlining that workflow.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that seamless integration extends to the compute resources we discussed earlier.
Okay.
Remember how you can connect to Amazon Redshift clusters?
Right.
Or EMR clusters directly from Sagemaker Unified Studio?
Yeah.
Well, those same resources can power your data analysis and machine learning tasks.
So it's like a one-stop shop for data.
Yeah.
And compute power.
That's it.
And all the tools you need.
All the tools.
To make sense of it all.
That's the idea.
Okay.
And to illustrate that, let's talk about the built-in query editor.
Okay.
It lets you write and execute SQL queries against your data, no matter where it lives.
Okay.
An S3 data lake, a Redshift warehouse, even an external database.
Now, I remember the user guide mentioned different query engines like Amazon Athena and Amazon Redshift.
Right.
Can you explain the difference? Like, when would I choose one over the other?
Yeah, great question. Both Athena and Redshift are powerful tools.
Okay.
But they have different strengths.
Right.
Think of Athena like your trusty Swiss Army knife.
Okay.
It's serverless, which means you don't have to worry about managing any infrastructure.
Right.
It's perfect for ad hoc queries, quick explorations, and working with data directly in S3.
So if I'm like, doing some exploratory data analysis or need to run a quick query on a large data set in S3, Athena would be my go-to.
Exactly. Redshift, on the other hand, is more like a high-performance sports car.
Okay.
It's a fully managed data warehouse service, optimized for complex queries, building dashboards, and those like deep dive analytical sessions where performance is key.
So it's all about choosing the right tool.
It is.
For the job.
Yep.
Depending on the type of analysis and the scale of the data.
Exactly.
Okay.
And here's what's really cool. Sagemaker Unified Studio lets you seamlessly switch between these query engines within the same query editor.
Okay.
You can even use both engines within the same query book, leveraging the strengths of each for different parts of your analysis.
Now that's flexibility.
That's the beauty of it.
Okay, so we've talked about data analysis. But SQL queries are just one way to look at data.
Absolutely.
What about like visualizing the data?
Right.
I'm a visual learner.
Okay.
So charts and graphs, they really help me understand patterns and trends.
Visualizations are essential.
Yeah.
And Sagemaker Unified Studio has got you covered.
Okay, good.
The query editor has built-in visualization capabilities, allowing you to create charts, graphs, dashboards directly from your query results.
Wait, so I can write a SQL query, get my results, and then with a few clicks, transform those results into a chart.
That's right.
Without having to like export the data or use a separate tool.
It's all about streamlining that workflow.
Good.
Making it easy to go from raw data to insights.
That's amazing.
It is. And it gets even better.
Okay.
Sagemaker Unified Studio also integrates with Amazon QuickSight, which is a really powerful business intelligence tool that lets you build these interactive dashboards and visualizations that will impress even the most data skeptical executive.
So if I need to create like a professional grade dashboard that pulls data from multiple sources and provides real-time insights, I can like seamlessly integrate QuickSight into my Sagemaker Unified Studio workflow.
Seamlessly.
That's incredible.
It is. It's all about having that flexibility to use the best tool for the job.
Yeah.
Whether it's the built-in visualizations for quick explorations or QuickSight for those, high-impact, boardroom-ready presentations.
Okay, so we've talked about data analysis.
Right.
We've talked about visualizations. But the real game changer these days is like AI and machine learning.
Absolutely.
How does Sagemaker Unified Studio support those capabilities.
This is where Sagemaker Unified Studio truly shines as a unified development environment.
Okay.
It seamlessly integrates with the full power of Amazon Sagemaker, giving you everything you need to build, train, and deploy machine learning models.
So it's like having all the algorithms, frameworks, infrastructure of Sagemaker.
It is.
Right at my fingertips.
Right at your fingertips.
Within Sagemaker Unified Studio.
That's right.
Okay.
You can use pre-built algorithms, popular machine learning frameworks like TensorFlow and PyTorch.
Right.
And even bring your own custom containers with your specific code and dependencies.
Now, I remember something about Jumpstart in the user guide.
Oh, yeah.
It sounded intriguing, but I didn't quite grasp it.
Okay.
Can you shed some light on Jumpstart?
Yeah, Jumpstart is like your fast track to the world of machine learning. It's a collection of pre-trained models, solution templates, and example notebooks that you can use as a springboard for your own projects.
So if I'm like new to machine learning or just need to quickly prototype a solution, I can leverage these pre-built resources to like hit the ground running.
Exactly. It's a fantastic way to learn, experiment, and accelerate your ML journey.
Okay.
And here's another gem for our listeners.
Yeah.
Sagemaker Unified Studio also supports MLflow, which is an open source platform for managing the entire machine learning lifecycle.
So I can track experiments, manage models, even deploy them into production.
You got it.
All within Sagemaker Unified Studio.
All within Sagemaker Unified Studio.
That's really powerful.
It is. It's that power of a unified platform. It's about having a comprehensive toolkit for every stage of that machine learning process.
Okay.
From data preparation to model deployment and monitoring.
Wow. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From the like nuts and bolts of data management to this exciting world of data analysis, visualizations, and machine learning.
It's been a journey.
It's clear that Sagemaker Unified Studio is living up to its name as a unified platform.
It is.
For all things data.
It really is. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with this thought.
Okay.
Sagemaker Unified Studio isn't just about the tools and features. It's about empowering you to unlock the full potential of your data, no matter what your role is, whether you're a data analyst, a data scientist, or even a business user just looking to gain those game-changing insights.
Well said. It's about making data accessible.
Absolutely.
Understandable, and ultimately a driving force behind better decisions.
That's right.
And more innovative solutions.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, thank you for joining us on this journey through the data capabilities of Amazon Sagemaker Unified Studio.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights.
We do.
And a newfound appreciation for the power of this incredible platform.
It is incredible.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating,
keep learning,
and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with data.
Couldn't agree more.